Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is for entertainment purpose only. This is the case of the Idaho Quadruple murders. This is pure speculation. This post was put in the beginning. It was circulating around the internet. It says, could it be leaked security camera image that shows Dylan Mortensen, DM, and BK Brian Kohberger hooking up before Idaho murders? I know that DM is ruled out as a person of interest, but then again, anyone can be pulled back into the investigation if evidence comes up. The person for me personally looks like BK, but I don't know about DM. I found it interesting for just one thing. From the beginning of this case, I've been always wondering if there was some kind of live stream or if there was a camera hooked up in 1122 Kings Road, because many people were watching the crime scene pictures. Where was DM that night? DM and BF came home at 1 a.m. But didn't Xana's father say that she was at home by midnight and that she wasn't going out? I wonder what was the reason for Xana, may she rest in peace, to change her locks. Let's not forget that Xana and DM lived on the second floor. So they shared the corridor, the living room, the toilet. Find that interesting. Why did it take 8 hours for DM and BF to call 911? And even after 8 hours, they decided to call the Sigma Chi fraternity boys first and Hunter Johnson. And they called 911. I find that to be very interesting. There was a big crowd outside and inside the house when the police came. When Hunter was checking on E and Xana's room and he called 911, the airmail article says that 2 people went upstairs and found Kaylee and Maddie unalived. So just imagine how much or how many unidentified DNAs is in the house. Let's not forget the knife sheet was found near Maddie. So before the police came in, who went upstairs to Maddie and Kaylee's room? Could the knife sheet have been planted there? It's just a question. Let's not forget it. They took 8 hours to call the police, so anything could have happened in 8 hours. Allegedly. Clean up, cover up, concealing evidence. Strangely enough, everything starts with C here. Was this a cover-up? At 2 a.m., a girl with blonde hair was seen running out of the front door. And let's not forget, the front door was wide open at 8:30 a.m. Our neighbor, a male who was on his way to work, saw that. What was actually happening in this house? DM and BF said in the beginning they were sleeping in the first floor, that they didn't hear anything. Later on, we hear in the affidavit that DM was actually sleeping in the second floor. Why was the timelines changed from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m.? Was changed to 4 to 4:25? There was a lot of rumors going on that DM, his boyfriend, Quinn Kelly, was seen there, although he said that he's never set a foot in Moscow. How come Jack Showalter didn't buy any food? Why did the girls run away from him? This young man in the brown jacket came in a white car dropped him off, and he left in a white car. Could that be the white car in question? He buys his food and he passes by the bin on his way out, and all of a sudden he's without his food. I believe he chucked it in the bin. He was standing right behind Jack Showalter, watching the girls the whole time, with the other guy in black pants. He could have just been buying food, but I find it strange that he chucked his food that he was waiting for at least 15 minutes. I find it strange that he came in a white car and left in a white car. Why was Kaylee so focused on her phone? She was texting the whole time and reading text or pictures, watching pictures. Look at Jovito and Showalter eyeing the girls and staring at them. But the girls are under surveillance. You could clearly hear Maddie saying, "F you, mister." What made Maddie so upset? Jovito said he doesn't even know them. Why is Kaylee taking a picture of them? I find that to be very interesting. Did she sense something? Look at how they all are looking at Kaylee and Maddie. As soon as Kaylee tries to take the picture, Showalter turns away. He's been hiding from the camera the whole time. That's AKA Hoodie Guy.
Ex-boyfriend, and on the Moscow police website, he is not listed, notably, as someone who has been cleared in the investigation. To your knowledge, is that significant?
No, I don't personally think so, because I think that there's the entire rest of the world that's also not on that list of people who have been cleared,
right?
Including Maddie's boyfriend, including any associates of Xana or Ethan that might not be involved. I don't find that significant at all.
Boyfriend, and on the Moscow police website, he is not listed, notably, as someone who has been cleared in the investigation. To your knowledge, is that significant?
No, I don't personally think so, because I think that there's the entire rest of the world that's also not on that list of people who have been cleared,
right?
Including Maddie's boyfriend, including any associates of Xana or Ethan that might not be involved. I don't find that significant at all.
And there were a number of phone calls to him that night, and you say that would have been typical behavior for Kaylee, that she often would call friends, folks, for a whole bunch of things.
At any time, yeah.
This Jack D, was the last one to be cleared. The girls, Maddie and Katie, made 10 calls together to Jagdi right before the quadruple murders. Pay attention to Kaylee's brother. Let's not forget, he was attending the same university at the same time as Kaylee. May she rest in peace. The brother would know more, I believe, of what was going on in their university. Olivia is very quick to defend Jagdi. I personally have never trusted Jagdi. And it isn't strange. He was the last person to be cleared. Let's not forget the mayor said, crime of passion. Was it Jackass or Jagdi? Allegedly. Why were the detectives standing and staring at this house next to 1122 Kings Road? Is that where Jack Showalter lives? Allegedly. I heard he just lives 2 doors away from the girls. Jack D looked like he had a plaster on his hand. His face was quite swollen. And he was avoiding the camera the whole time.
An unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence, and the surviving roommate's cell phone was used. During that call, the dispatcher spoke to multiple people who were on scene.
The dispatcher spoke to multiple people on the scene. Multiple people on the scene. That's before the police came. And the 911 call is on gag order. Who are the multiple people? Was the 3 unidentified male DNAs one of the multiple people? Are the multiple people some of the 400 people that are going to be called? What did they touch? Could they have planted the knife sheet? Could they have known Brian Christopher Kohberger? If they've known him, it should be easy to explain how his DNA got there. I personally think that the 911 call and callers are the issue. Is DM and BF trying to tell us that after they heard rummaging upstairs, they went back to sleep? Didn't they need to go to the toilet? These are young girls who are out in town drinking, having a good time. I'm sure they would need the toilet. And if DM needed the toilet and she was in the 2nd floor, then she would have definitely seen E and Xana unlived. His face looks really swollen.
News in Idaho where 4 college students were killed and still no answers. It is now day 6 since the horrific overnight attacks that left 4 University of Idaho students dead in their off-campus home. While many details are remaining unclear, investigators have learned that a physical struggle took place before the murders happened, and that 2 additional roommates were in another part of the house that night. They're not believed to be involved in the crime. I want to bring in NBC's Gotti Schwartz, who's standing by for us in Moscow, Idaho. Gotti, talk to us. What do we know? What more are we learning today?
Well, right now we're watching investigators outside of the home, and it appears as though they're taking pictures of some skid marks in front of the home. Now, there's a lot of people watching and a lot of wild speculation on this case. So let me just put some context to this. This right here, this is an area where police have been turning around. You've got traffic coming in and out. This is a road that's been open for a week here. And if we go pull back out, you can see that the crime scene tape has been extended over here. They basically locked down this parking lot, which is where we're at. There's a student living situation behind us. So they're not letting any cars down here. And then they've taken this crime scene tape, which is for the house right here, and it used to drop off the driveway, and for now they've just kind of stretched it here, and they're taking pictures here in the road. Now, before we jump to conclusions, this could be just normal documentation, police showing skid marks that they may have left while they were turning around, or this could be something else. At this point, we don't know. Investigators have been extremely tight-lipped about this investigation, but we have seen over the last few days investigators still coming into this house, still processing what looks like evidence inside. Yesterday, they were in the backyard putting down evidence markers, digging through the leaves, pulling things out. So this crime scene is still very much active. Meanwhile, the community is still in the same place that they were on day one. The community is still in the same place that they were on day one. No motive, no murder suspect, no murder weapon, and the fear in this community has grown and grown and grown every day that this killer has not been caught. This is a college town, so many people in this community have decided to leave town not feeling safe. The vacation, the Thanksgiving vacation is right ahead, but a lot of people opting to leave town early because the killer is still on the loose. That's it.
So among the people who left town for Thanksgiving, how do they know that none of them were involved? It's not like they took interview of everyone who went home. And if they did that, they did it over the phone. This crime scene was badly handled. I personally believe. Everything was badly handled. It was really unprofessional. We saw the forensics team going in without gloves and mask in the beginning. I just have the feeling Brian Christopher Kohberger and his defense team are going to say that he used to party in the house. And if they say that, we're looking at a totally different case. This was from social media in the beginning. This is someone's opinion. My theory is someone came back with both girls or with Zen and E. This or someone was hiding in the house until they got home. That is why there is no forced entry. They definitely knew this person. They need to look at every person's hands and arms that's surrounding both parties that night. If stabbing was the cause of death, then more than likely they injured themselves in the process. If E put up a fight, then the person has marks. Did the perpetrator take a shower and clean up before leaving out? ? I would dust closets, bathrooms, lights, switches. I would take the phones of every single person at both parties and go through everyone. Someone knows something, they need to come forward. There was a lot of blood, then more than likely it would have got on their shoes. I agree. I totally agree. Is Jack D's fingers injured? His face looks swollen. And I've heard that the Davids allegedly went to the hospital that night. This is all speculation. It's not facts. You have the ladder there from the beginning. They've never taken out of the scene. This picture always gets me. This is Brian Christopher Kohberger. Trigger warning. I think these are the days he was on heroin, allegedly. Look at the difference. He must have really worked hard to change back to normal, should I say? And he managed to get himself a master's degree, bachelor, master's, and a PhD. So why would he risk all that for unliving 4 people that he doesn't know? There's no connections there. There was no blood trace found in his car.
Having 4 college students to death is set to appear before a judge within hours, waiving extradition and paving the way for his swift return to Idaho. The lawyer for 28-year-old Brian Kohberger says his client maintains his innocence.
He's certainly eager to get back to Idaho to start the legal process, and he believes that he will be exonerated when he does return.
Sources telling ABC News police were able to link Kohberger to the crime in part by running DNA from the crime scene through a public genealogy database. It's an investigative tool routinely used since the capture of the Golden State Killer. Police first finding relatives, then zeroing in on Kohberger, a PhD student studying criminology at Washington State University, just 15 minutes from the crime scene. Kohberger was also a teacher's assistant. One of his students says he seemed a little different after the murders.
I remember he looked a little bit more disheveled. He had like some stubble coming on. His hair was a little, messed up or whatever. Nothing like crazy, but enough that I remember seeing him and thinking like, oh man, finals must be really getting to him or something like that.
He socialized with Kohberger when he was a teenager here in Pennsylvania.
And how do you remember him at those parties?
Withdrawn, kept to himself.
Tonight, investigators processing Kohberger's white Hyundai Elantra they say was spotted on surveillance near the crime scene. Kohberger and his father driving the car 2,500 miles from Washington to Pennsylvania, arriving at the family home a month after the murders.
I can tell you based on experience that cars months and sometimes years old, we've been able to find trace amounts of blood and DNA in a vehicle, despite the fact that naked eye could not see it.
Kana Whitworth joining us now from Pennsylvania. And Kana, you're learning more about that cross-country road trip. The suspect and his father were actually pulled over by police.
Yeah, Brian's lawyer actually telling me that it happened twice, both times in Indiana, about an hour apart, once for speeding and once for tailgating. Now, Brian was arrested about 17 days later and has been held here at the Monroe County Correctional Facility, awaiting his hearing tomorrow.
Why was this empty room so important for the forensic team and the police? They used the infrared camera to take pictures inside the room. They put off all the lights. Did part of the crime happen in this room? What was this room used for? Were the suspects hiding in this room before the girls got home? Let me know what you all think about this, especially this room. I'd love to hear your opinions. Because this was supposed to be the room of the 6th roommate who never moved in. Please like, share, and subscribe. May the 4 victims rest in peace. Condolence to the families, and may the correct justice be served. All we want is the correct justice. If Brian Christopher Kohberger did it, he deserves whatever's coming his way. Because nobody deserves to lose their life in that manner. These 4 students are somebody's children. They could have been our children. That is the reason I never give up on this case. I will be trying to take other cases in between, but this is my first priority. Whether it takes a year or 2, I believe we owe it to Kaylee, Zana, Maddie, and E. May they rest in peace. Condolence to their families. And we owe the correct justice to be served. Just in case BK is innocent himself. There were many people who entered the crime scene before the police even got there. So expect anything. Cover up, clean up, allegedly. Anything. 8 hours. Kaylee's LinkedIn account was switched off, was logged off completely 11 hours after the police arrived.